Oof. Ugh. All right. So. All right, we're going to try and get this back now. Wasn't a full internet outage. All right. Oh, my video doing this dumb thing. Okay. And let's fix YouTube as well. Old mic, old cam. Okay. Oh. We are getting back. We are getting back up and running.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that.
All good.
All right. We're gonna search up a new game, folks. So let's see what else we got.
No vid. Am I back, you guys?
Oh, you're back. Yeah. Is the video not working?
I don't know. I should be back.
Yeah, you are back. I hear you.
Oh, you know who's playing?
Tell me who's playing.
Aaron.
Oh, right. Aaron!
Their game's early and it's in a different position. Hello, Jesse or Kostya. Are you okay switching up to the Aaron game?
Of course.
Okay.
Ooh! Kostya Likey. It's a King's Indian defense.
Yeah. With the early knight a6, just like Kostya's been playing. Kostya been early knight a6.
All right. White's playing something like a classical variation. Bishop e2, bishop e3, knight f3.
H3.
Yeah, h3, maybe my move order. Okay, h3 here. All right, and there we are. Live position, folks.
What makes it the Karpov system, Skibix? Or
yeah.
Yeah, H3 and castle short.
We might need to tag in Kostya and Skibix instead of you and me for the King's Indian game.
I mean, I've been playing King's Indian for years and years. And like actually trying to learn.
Okay. So do you know this position? Karpov, whether or not it's called the Karpov something?
No. I mean, I know H3. I mean, there seems like a mixture of all sorts of ideas here.
Mm-hmm.
But
Kostya says h3 and O to O don't really mix. And I guess, like, if White's not playing g4, that to some extent h3 is a weakening move in your opponent's strong side, right? So it makes it easier for Black to pick targets and attack you.
so where am I at in the live position here? F5, EF5, GF5, Bishop H6. Me kind of likey for black pieces.
Yep. General sense also that the moves played sort of are more tending towards what black wants played. So white's gonna have to play some really good moves to not kind of get rolled over.
Yeah.
Okay, Nomenesio wants to know who's the greatest King's Indian player of the modern era after Kostya.
Ooh. Hello to Nomen Nesio on YouTube.
I guess about 15 years ago, it would have been Rajabov. But I don't know if Rajabov counts as the modern era anymore. So now,
Yeah, back when,
what's that?
yeah, back when Nakamura and Rajabov and
Yeah,
Karyakin and those guys played King's Indian.
yeah. I would have thought
Ooh, the
Rajabov
E4
was like
squared.
the top King's Indian player at that time. Nowadays, I think the highest rated frequent King's Indian practitioner would be Faruja. Kostya's saying Naka, who had like a bunch of like great King's Indian games, but I feel like a lot of them were maybe 15 or 20 years ago. A lot of Naka's King's Indian masterpieces. I don't know if he plays it a lot nowadays as well.
How about Smirin, unless he's completely canceled?
Smirin was a big King's Indian player, yeah.
Gawain Jones, that's a good one.
So I mean, it also depends on what we count as modern, right? Because yeah, I mean, are we including games from 2010 or not, right? So Kostya's saying you could also, if you were thinking really current with modern, it might be Faruja now, who's playing the most critical King's Indian games. So black recaptures on G7 with the queen, which is nice. And I had the same question as Oscar Chess, which is what about the little guy on D6? You know, what about little old me on D6?
I mean, well, black has made. I mean, F5, F4 is a pretty big statement of a move.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna give away the E4 square. They're gonna try to checkmate them, right? So
Yeah. All right, ARN opening up some air in the center
hey,
here.
don't get checkmated.
So at this point, is black doing things like they stop recapturing? There comes a point in the King's Indian, right, where black's just done recapturing. They ignore everything. So you could imagine a variation like knight f6, pawn takes b7. Black's like, nope, bishop takes h3. I don't recapture anymore. Yeah, take on a8, queen g2. The time always comes eventually, where there's no longer time for recaptures. And to some extent, I feel like we might be there at that bridge, because if pawn takes c6, queen d6, Jesse would say, it's my big fatty queen or something, right? You would say, like,
Yeah.
what's black going to do once my, queen just gets in like this? Complicating matters. So maybe this is the moment where black burns the bridges and just goes knight f6. Rest in peace to the Sunday Swiss with the Sunday arenas.
Yeah, it's because I used to, when you didn't do them anymore, I would try to do some type of Sunday tournament.
Yeah, Kostya is not sure about giving the d6 pawn. So I think like the instinct is like 50-50 that black is so strong that they can get away with this, or that it's going to sink their game.
I want to go back to like where we played F4.
Mm-hmm.
And then so they took, no, okay, this is the good position.
Yes.
It's a big committal move there to play F4.
Yeah, if I had been playing black, the move that was on my mind, at least for like, a blitz or rapid game, because obviously I didn't spend 20 minutes on this position, was rook f7.
Uh-huh.
That was my thought, because
That's a normal move.
I'm keeping my queen defending the d6 pawn, and I'm saying, normally if white hadn't played bishop h6, we'd probably be playing moves like king h8, rook g8, maybe. I don't know. I might. So rook f7 was like the obvious number one move to me after white played bishop h6.
Yeah.
Kostya says black could also just play c5, say like, how about we keep the center closed now, plus
That's
emphasizing
reasonable.
dark squares. That feels good.
It's pretty reasonable.
That feels good. Um,
Yeah, because I
maybe
mean, go ahead.
maybe gives white some chance to minimize or mitigate the disaster by coming into g5. So basically, we go bishop g7,
Or
queen
squeeze, right?
g7, and then either queen g5, and we suffer in a bad endgame for white, but not necessarily a terminal endgame, right? Or if we're feeling really lucky, which I would not be feeling lucky at this point as white, but if there was somebody, braver than me, maybe they could try knight g5 to play knight e6 and say that'll still open up something.
I'm sorry, in which position after?
That would be Kosti's idea of c5
Okay,
after
okay,
bishop
okay.
h6.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
His
yeah.
idea of c5, and then I would trade on g7 for white, and I'm saying
Knight,
either queen
and then
g5
play
or
knight
knight
g5,
g5.
knight
One of
six.
those moves might keep it from being like just a stroll in the park for black.
Maybe, maybe.
But yeah, okay, rook f7 and c5, two good looking moves for black. Instead, we get a very aggressive move from black, like the most aggressive, probably just
Right.
f4.
Rook f7. You retain the ability to play e4 and then f4 or something.
And black did indeed not recapture on c6. They played knight f6.
Okay.
White was sufficiently scared of bishop h3, which is reasonable.
Now are we gonna get rolled?
So we got king h2 played.
Are we gonna get rolled by e4? Or are we gonna be just a-okay? Black has
E4 could
such
be.
good
Yeah.
squares for their pieces.
The first move I look at in a position like this is bishop takes h3. It doesn't work here, but that's just always what I look at first. Once the
Sure.
king's trying to defend for himself, I'm like, can you really? Let's just check, you know. So bishop takes h3, the first move I looked at, and it doesn't work, because after g takes h3, white's just going to be taking over with rook g1 in a moment, So it turns out it's completely suicidal.
I mean, the black pieces are going to be so good here, David. Look at this. We got rook g8, we got e4, we got knight c5, we got bishop h3.
Mm-hmm. Okay, black plays king h8.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Now white could play rook g1 if they're trembling in fear, or they can start playing moves like queen d6. And you do sometimes really need to strike back, bravely and confidently in these positions. Start thinking about, well, if you go rook g8, maybe I'll have a smothered mate with knight e5, knight f7 at some point.
I wonder if black should have played something more vigorous here.
Instead of king h8.
Yeah.
You were thinking of e4, right? Mainly.
Well, I mean, I'm a caveman. I want to play like e4 f3 or e4 e3. I
Mm-hmm.
want to do something aggressive.
Yeah, let's
I
have a
want to
look.
kick the knight out of the center.
E4, knight d4, and then let's say we play f3. For argument's sake, g takes f3. So we get here.
Okay.
Now, if I could play queen h6, I would be on board, probably.
Yep.
But somehow the queen on d2 is stopping queen h6, and white's getting ready to play rook g1, queen g5, and suddenly, wait,
Yep.
who's attacking who?
Right. So I'm not in total belief of this.
Yeah. There's an issue we have to be very careful about here as black, which is we've got rook a8, bishop c8, knight a6, which are not all necessarily
Right.
ready for the fight. So what we
So we
have
can
that's
play-
amazing is this pair of pawns on e4 and f4. They're kind of bossing the white pieces around, right? Being really like bullies. But, if we try moves like e3 and f3, like fancy breakthroughs that work once our pieces are built up behind them, if they don't immediately knock white out, then suddenly white's got more pieces on the king side than we have.
I mean, after f3, there's a myriad of moves. I mean, instead of f3, we could play queen h6, we could play knight c5,
Mm-hmm.
we could play other things.
Yeah, I think knight c5 would be correct. Bringing more material to the game, right? keeping the e
Mm-hmm.
pawn well defended. You've got
Yep.
themes of pushing e3 and then bringing the knight to
To
e4,
E4.
queen g3 check there.
Yep.
I suppose we could even look at e3, fe3, bishop takes h3
You're talking about immediately or with
without
knight
knight c5, yeah.
Okay.
Now, knight c5 would make this idea much stronger, but we could just
Yeah.
check this idea first, and see how good or bad it looks. The idea from black's perspective is, to get the queen in, start checking the white king around, and, maybe then you've got some mating ideas. Maybe throw in fe first, taking away f2, tempo on the queen. It doesn't look easy for white to refute. Yet my instinct is somehow that knight c5, quote unquote, threatening e3 would be a good approach to this position. That feels
Because to me that feels more
pretty right.
better than like king h8. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I think Oscar Chess, depending on what position you're thinking of, when I played bishop takes h3, I was threatening queen g2 checkmate. So I think, depending on the move order, when I was going like e3 here, in this position, you don't have ef4. Yeah. And, I'm being very fancy with my move order, folks. I don't know for sure that it's not better to play queen g3 check first. As Kostya said, it's just sketching. We're just sort of like tossing out little pieces of ideas of how things come together. But normally the way I would approach this position would be calculating just a ton of variations, Ranga. Like not a ton of rhyme or reason, but starting with the most aggressive moves, or the moves that most fit my instinct of what should work. And then from that you can refine the ideas if they don't work. But let's go to king h8. I think your idea of e4 looks very, very plausible. A little more energetic than the king h8 move, but king h8 rook g8 is very logical as well.
Sure. I mean, they can still make these moves, but yeah.
So here's the big deal about king h8. It gave Aaron the option to go queen d6. And after thinking for 3 minutes, which was a very good use of time, I would say, Aaron did go for queen d6. So I really want to say, like, it's a super critical move, but if you spend 6 minutes, then you have to play the rest of the game on 2 minutes, and there are other critical moves coming, right? So I feel like 2 minutes 40 as used by white on queen d6, that felt like right at the sweet spot where you're taking the move seriously and you know it's important, but you also know there are other big moves to come. Okay, so then we get e4. And this queen d6, this would really be the reason why I would think maybe king h8 is not as good as e4. To some extent, is very specific, like king h8, rook g8 is fully plausible, but the queen on d6 worries me. Okay, so now black calmly does make a recapture on c6. So there's
I don't like.
No huge threat coming from black, right? Knight on
I feel like time is of the essence here.
Yeah.
Maybe my assessment's wrong, but b takes c6 is not a move I'd like to play.
I think black may have been starting to worry about pawn takes b7, bishop b7, knight f5 at the wrong moment.
Sure.
And the queen has to, keep some things defended and wants to stay on an attacking square and stuff. Also, potentially, white could play pawn takes b7, bishop takes b7, queen f4. It's a theme I noticed earlier. Sure. Basically, if the bishop's not on c8, then knight g4 check doesn't win your queen. And you can kind of start to break up their pawn duo.
Right.
So we got b takes c6, and I love this move from Aaron, bringing a rook to d1. Rook b8 from black. I was thinking of that.
I mean, instead of bc6, they could really try to go for broke with the f3. Or, sorry, e3. I don't know. Just something more But
Yeah, trying to get the g3 square for the queen again, folks. But without the white queen on d2, this move comes without the same kind of oomph, right? Like they don't have to
yeah,
immediately answer in a certain way, and
yep. The knight on a6 is, we got some queenside pieces that aren't playing, which is
right. Like
not
if
great.
white takes on b7, I guess in response to that. Oh, then you take on b7, you're threatening mate. No, the
Hmm.
knight's covering it.
You're threatening something evil.
Yeah, we're also hoping we're threatening something evil. Because I mean, queen f4 would be the cleaning up move for white, right? Where the queen gets back from the center, and then black doesn't have their armada.
I mean, there's knight h5. I don't know exactly which position you're on,
Yeah,
but
just
that's a move.
yeah, it is. I'm just in like a super messy position. It's not clear who it would have worked out for. I'm gonna go back to the game position with rook d1,
Yeah,
rook
sounds good.
b8. Rook d4 played, giving b2. I was thinking maybe just play b3, keep black at bay with that
Okay.
rook. But now you're going to see black gets that rook into the game, and now all the pieces are fighting for both players, kind of. It becomes
Close, other than the a6.
really wild. I feel like rook b2, black's way more back in the game with that.
Mm-hmm. Complicated position,
Yeah.
low on time.
All right, rook develops from f1. Defending the bishop. An issue for white was potentially with rook d4. What Aaron was thinking of was knight e4, breaking up black's center. But black would actually just take the bishop on e2 in response. So we get rook e1 supporting the bishop.
Okay,
White's
that's
still
fine.
hoping to collect these e4 and f4 pawns because of the central access. You know that you're kind of behind them. Normally you're in front of those pawns and they just bully you, right? Like you can't attack them enough times. They're chasing all your pieces back. But here white's kind of behind them and around them and has chances to clean them up. And black, of course, is looking at e3 and f3 kind of tactics every move.
Mm-hmm. It's the type of position that I think the King's Indian player wants. You know,
Yeah.
they're
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
they're pretty happy with this.
Knight b4, delivering the last piece from the side of the board. Idea knight c2. Trying to win back, trying to win an exchange there. It's kind of like your idea of e4 being followed by knight c5, right? It's like we just take our bad piece and like add it to the game and then, let white worry about calculating. Madness. I have no instinct about who's better anymore.
Yeah. Um, I would assume white is,
Okay.
but it's really easy for black to drum up a win out of nowhere with those pawns and active pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see.
Okay, we got to move.
Rook back.
Rook back. That is not the move of someone who has the advantage, right? The critical move would have been knight takes e4, knight
E4.
c2, right?
Mhm.
Just giving an
Yep.
exchange, but taking out their center.
Yep.
And then maybe like knight f6, I was thinking. And if black takes one of the rooks, then I was going to play knight h5 and hope that white has something on the long diagonal, that black's queen is overworked. That looked like the critical move to me. We get rook d2, and black can just kind of trade the rook, and now they could stabilize. They've gone for f3 like they're trying to kill white because they have 20 seconds.
Yeah, they've traded too much.
But presumably black could have played a stable move right here if they wanted, like queen g5 looks...
Which move number?
Move 23 after white played queen d2. Looks like black should play any number of stabilizing moves if they want. Like queen g5 looks like black's just kind of in control to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
That
we get
looks pretty
f3, so it's like very tactical. Then e3. Trying to guess what black has in mind here. If queen e3, knight c2, that happens. Wow. Maybe the idea was fe3, rook g8, and the g3 square is weakened by this e3 pawn sack. I mean, it's coming really fast now, but wow. So now
I'm
black's
not
up an
entirely sure
exchange.
what the idea is.
And
Knight
rook G8,
C2.
tying white's queen to this.
Okay. Yeah, they're playing
20,
quickly here.
20 seconds for a Nick, but it looks like they have to be way better here.
Uh, uh, check. Nope, sorry.
No checks yet. Potentially last move instead of rook G8. Again, this move queen G5 might have trapped the knight on H4 and won the game in one move. I guess it would be knight G2, huh? Okay. So rook G8 F4, queen H6. That'll force knight G2 as well. Then there's queen H3 mate. Uh-oh. Oh, it's over. It's over.
Scary.
It's over. The King's Indian player wins again. Nobody knows how. Well, we've got one inkling. Like letting that rook from A8 get into B2. That was huge.
Somebody once told me that the point of the King's Indian is to have a really complicated position around move 40, and then somebody makes a mistake in time trouble.
Okay.
Kind of like this.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. The knight couldn't retreat because of H3, so it gets pushed back, and now like a finishing up move would be rook G3.
I thought rook G3 for sure.
Yeah. Black takes on H3, which is amply good enough as well. Cuts off knight G2 still.
They were kind of joking about King's Indian, but also kind of not.
Yeah. Even Kostya thought black was going down. Kostya's seen this happen 100 times. You think black's going down, and then they just win.
The crisscross.
Yeah. White's fighting. They're trying to create some resources. They've got this queen A1 or queen C3 angle.
They are fighting well. Yeah, because black has 10 seconds.
Yeah. They're going to want to retract the bishop, and they do.
Check.
Nicely done. Check. Rook's going to have to block. Now the knight and the bishop are both hanging.
Mm-hmm. +5 is nice.
Yeah, especially for black. Bonjour, Elise. Another King's Indian. And again, we just don't understand how it happens. Even the greatest practitioners of the King's Indian, they don't understand themselves how they win their own games. They're like, I don't know. I was dead lost, and then something happened.
Yeah, I bought that book, King's Indian Warfare by Smirin, and all of the analysis it just says, yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing here, and then it's just got pages of question marks, and that's all.
Just question marks. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even describe it more specifically than that. Then something happened. I can't even be like, oh, and then, we got the initiative, or, we counterattacked. Just something happened. I don't know.
I'm kidding. I don't have that book.
It's a good joke, though.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Magic opening.
Well, once again, Aaron entertained us, but congrats to Anik. I mean, that was just what?
That was a cool game.
Yeah. What happened there? Black went from having, 3 pieces stuck on the queen side, kind of dreaming. White was breaking through the center, and then rook B8 to B2, knight A6 to B4. And there was that crazy magic of F3 and E3 played while black had 20 seconds or something on the clock. I mean,
I didn't look closely at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know for sure what was going on here. Nobody did because it happened so fast. But like F3 takes
right. So
E3.
What happens on FE3? Like,
all right. My first guess was that black's goal was rook G8. But now, oh wait, hang on.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know what we do there. That's tough. Move the bishop, I guess.
My game just got stolen from me somehow.
Then we played crazy move bishop D1. This still loses the knight. Okay.
It's not showing me any of my... This is the thing.
Feeling to you.
This is the thing. It just like takes away your games. And there's no way to find your way back to them.
Just call Dritman. Get him on the line.
I used to have. I've talked to lots of people on the line, and there's no explaining. Okay, so f3 takes e3. Now we see it from black's perspective for the first time.
Yeah. It's dangerous here.
Oh, Kalen is Anik. Wow, awesome. Hey,
Yeah,
Kalen.
yeah, yeah.
The plan was queen h6. Oh, because I had sort of like was thinking rook g8 when we were blitzing through it. Now I see queen d6, which sort of seems like a defense against rook g8. And Kalen says the idea was queen h6. So that e3 pawn was stuffed in there to block the white queen's access to h6. This is like an idea that, normally you would need 5 or 10 minutes
That's a good
to
one.
put this thing together, with f3 and then e3 as the follow-up.
Yeah, that was nice.
But Kalen composed this in 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing that they can sack both pawns, re-straighten out the pawns, and be winning.
Okay, queen d4 is suggested defense that does walk into Kalen's knight c2 again, which is going to collect, I think, a full rook at this point.
Trying to play queen h6 for like 10 moves. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, sometimes when you're focused on like, this is what I need to make happen, this is what I need to do, then
you find it.
Then you find it.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest c5 here, which totally doesn't work, folks, because of queen c5, and then queen h4, queen f8, right? Very, very horrible. But this knight c2, that'll do it. Dang.
This was nice.
Dang, we're f3, e3. Woo. Black's finally got like a real stable position here. And instead of just trying to hold it together, they moved for the kill with 20 seconds on the clock. Dang. That was exciting.
That was great.
All right. There are parts of me that want to see the following game. I think just started. There's a lot of games going on. Icy Stun against Trav Kuskin.
Icy Stun, Trav Kuskin?
Yeah.
Okay, let me find it.
Sweden versus Norway. Some friendly neighborly skirmishing, or a blood rivalry?
I'm not seeing that game. Is it over?
No, but I can send you, I think, a direct link to the game, so that might
no, I found it.
help us.
I found it. We got there. Icy Sun with the mathematic profile, heroic dose with the. That's such a funny emote. I love that one.
Wow, exciting stuff happening for Jesse and Kostya.
This is interesting because I don't understand how to play the Russell emo with either side.
Okay, looks like they've got everything sorted out correctly, and we've got, as Kostya says, a big matchup on our hands here. Yet another opening that Kostya is an expert in. And if every game is an opening that you're an expert in, that's a good sign about your chess knowledge. I mean, I'm picking these games randomly, and each time it's like, oh, Kostya would know what's going on.
All right.
Kalen, by the way, I think that was the key moment as well. That b3 versus rook b8, rook b2.
Oh, when they got to play rook b2?
Yeah, I really think that's what turned the game, as far as I could tell, within all the chaos of it. Trav Kuskin means the harness driver.
Okay. What is a harness in this context?
I do want to announce that, Kostya. I do. You said it's October 1st, right? My eyes are so bleary, I almost read it as an 11 because there's an I right after it. But it's October 1st. It's just coming up right around the corner. So let us announce it. Kostya knows more details than me, but basically, dojoers, we can play as a team on chess.com every Wednesday. I remember occasionally playing some blitz events on a Lichess team for Chess Dojo, and it was very, very fun. to play as a team. So chess.com has rejiggered Arena Kings so that somehow it's like the clubs play in the arenas, and we're trying to have our club be the king of the arena, I think, is the idea. And the more, the merrier, and perhaps the more, the better we do as a team. And Kostia's going to be streaming it, which will be another alert. Yeah, Kostia, can you tell us the time control? Maybe all of us here can contribute. 3-0.
3-0.
Kostia, if I played and just lost every game, would that help the team, hinder the team, or have no effect? Multi-club arenas are the best. We should do them more often anyway.
Is this the one where it's like they take the top 30 people or whatever?
Probably some big number of top players from your team and added up the scores. Yeah, it's very nice that chess.com's organizing it, because I've wanted to do more multi-club arenas, but they require more setup, so I haven't. Top 30 counts, says Kostia. Then I should probably show up. Bad as I am at 3-0. If we need 30 scores,
what day is this?
We're going to need a lot of people to show up. Wednesday at noon Eastern.
Maybe I'll take the day off work just so I can play. Just kidding.
It's only 2 hours, so it's not a full work day for most people.
Okay. Yes, please. Let me know when you're ready to look at some of these moves here.
At the actual moves?
I got a couple questions for you.
Let me know, David, if we could talk about any of the chess here. It's every Wednesday from here on out.
It's fine. We can talk about Arena Kings.
So you're not going to have to work on Wednesdays for the rest of your life, Ranga. That's pretty good news, just right?
Become part-time, I guess. That'd be great.
Yeah.
See if I can get that added to my contract.
Now, chess.com, they would allow you to work while you're playing in an arena, right? Chess.com's fair play. They don't mind if you're right. Sort of working at the same time.
This is like under the assumption that I work for chess.com.
No, I mean, they don't care if someone's, not really working their normal job.
They don't care, correct.
Wow, Kostia's good at math too. Check this out. Skip lunch on Tuesday. Take a double lunch on Wednesday.
Wow.
I mean,
this is coming from, I wonder how many, I don't know Kostia's life all that well. Like how many jobs he's had where like you're required to do things at certain times by other people.
Yeah.
It might not be many jobs.
Yeah, the math made a lot of sense. But it's true that professional chess players often have not experienced the same kind of workplaces as others.
It's possible.
Yeah. Blobiciously has a
one summer. Okay.
Blobiciously has a chessboard at work to play chess during lunches. So
I've brought a chessboard to work before and played with the kids.
For all you know, Blobiciously, if you asked for permission to play Arena Kings, your boss might join you and play for the dojo as well.
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
I could just ask my administrator.
Yeah.
If I could kind of just like take a couple periods off to play Arena Kings.
Yeah.
That's pretty reasonable request, I think.
Yeah. And also if you start by asking them to participate as well, it increases that feeling of like, oh yeah, we should all be doing this, and you value them and they're part of the team. Nobody wants to be the person on the team that tells the team that there's no team, right? Everybody wants to be on a team. Your administrator will be like, wait, I'm on the team?
Yeah.
You want me?
They could be top 30.
If you're teaching a class, you can tell all the students in the class to play Arena Kings.
That's actually possible because chess.com is not blocked and they all have a little computer.
Right. And you tell them this is like related to mathematics.
One of the kids showed me his username. Highly suspicious.
Was it Stockfish 37?
No, it was more vulgar than that. but
More. Oh God. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
It's a chess.com wide event, Falgri, and basically it's being switched from an event which I don't know what it was before, but I know that basically the participants were individuals like Nakamura and Naroditsky, and now it's like club against club. So
Yeah, I've never played in Arena Kings. I feel like it used to also be Bullet.
it may
I feel
have
like it
been.
used like 1-0 or 1-1 or something.
I mean, three
Just
zero is very close to bullet. It's right on the
3-0
borderline.
I play a 3-0 every day.
Yeah. But
Like a
3
true
0 is
player.
like the fastest time control that's blitz versus bullet, I think.
Hmm.
It's pretty close. Knight h4. Idea knight f5. So this is a very interesting plan from Trev Kuskin. I'm not really used to it, but you
What about
often
Knight G?
you often see h3 to stop bishop g4. But quick g4 from white in this opening. I'm more used to plans of kingside castling with either an f pawn push or a b pawn push or an a pawn push. g4 was basically already complete news to me here. And now knight h4 threatening knight f5. I'd predicted this, and I thought the only defense for black would be h6. We see Trev
Wait,
Kuskin 5 minutes ahead on the clock against a very strong master.
H6 only defense here?
The only one I'd noticed, yeah.
I played Knight G8 in like a similar position in the Spanish before,
Whew.
and it was actually good.
Okay. Knight g8.
But let me look.
Keeping the queen out for now, right? From all
Yeah. Trying to,
angles here.
look at H6 and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I believe you could play this move.
I don't
Wild.
love it. I don't, it's not my favorite thing to go to G8, but
Sure. But I mean, there is a very strong desire on black's side. If you're getting attacked in a certain area, to not make any pawn moves you don't absolutely have to make, right? So if you can get by with an ugly move or a pawn move, sometimes you're better off playing the ugly move.
yep.
Knight g8, yeah. Okay, so knight g8's playable. Blobiciously says white is having all the fun. For the moment, yes, that's true. Black has not yet even pointed out what their idea of fun would be, right? They're still just reacting.
Let's see, what could their idea of fun be?
I would push c5, c4 at some point
Yeah,
if I were ever
that's the move I'm
free for
looking
a
at for
moment.
sure. Number one move.
Yeah. So we assume white's king is going to the queen side, but for the moment it's stuck in this. It's in the sorry, not stuck. For the moment it's in the center. So random moves like a5 and b5, like wild pawn storming on the opposite side. White's not obliged to castle queen side. They could just stay in the center, which is locked, and keep attacking you. And then you're like, well, I spent a lot of time pushing my a and b pawns. Secondarily, with these doubled c pawns, when you push the a and b pawns past them, sometimes you end up like positionally bad on the queen side. Like you can get blocked, blockaded. Your structure can become bad. White could just suddenly castle king side and play positionally on the queen side where you're making weaknesses. So the only move that's unimpeachable for me is c4 as a pawn sack at some point.
Yeah, that's the move that I was looking at as the move to play when we have a chance.
Yeah. Potentially, if we're not feeling really confident about the pawn sack, you could put the bishop on e6 or something first and then play c4. You invite white to maybe play b3 and try and lock you down with other options that could come up. But yeah, playing for c4 is the plan to me here.
Yeah. Either my connection's bad or Icy Stunned is very, very stunned.
No, he's been playing
No,
this game slowly. He has.
We've got to move.
Yeah.
Neither of our moves.
Knight d7, similar to knight g8,
This allows check.
but almost more abject because it blocks in that bishop, so it's just kind of discoordinating, and it leaves h6 open to white's pieces.
Oh. Okay, let's see if it's actually dangerous. Played in 2 seconds here.
Trafkuskin feeling confident. King h8, maybe threatening to take the knight. Although if white plays rook g1, I wouldn't take it, personally.
Yeah. Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. In theory, white could also play knight e3, knight e7, knight h6, various moves.
There you go. Look at this.
Rook g1. So the knight is intending to stay. And I think white's idea is to play queen h6 next, right? Because, like, what's the plan with rook g1? Is the plan to then go h4, h5? That's a little bit slow, plus we took our rook off the h-file. I think the idea is to try and force things pretty quickly here with queen h6, threatening mate, try and force black into something like, here, I'll play a bad move for black, a5.
At least this stops.
Queen h6, threatening mate. We trade, try to defend the mate. Trade, get the king out of the way. And, like, presumably winning attack for white. So I think that's kind of the idea here from white. And Icy played queen d8 quickly. And white has knight d6. Quote unquote winning the game at this kind of a high level.
It's a strong move.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, black can still resist for sure, but, like, effectively, you know, a computer will say that white's winning. And if you gave Icy the white pieces here with knight d6 on the board, Icy would probably win, you know, 80% of games with that advantage.
This is the type of stuff that happens when some knight gets to sit there.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow. So the g4 plan, first time seeing it, triumphant in its debut. Whether or not white wins the game, we can say, you know, the plan looked pretty darn good.
Yeah, can I ask you some questions if we go back?
Yeah.
Kind of before this.
Yeah.
So when white played bishop h6,
Yeah.
So like some positions, I'll take that. I'll play bishop takes h6, queen h6, you know, because queen g6 is always met by rook g8, or queen g7 is met by rook g8. Like I allow this type of stuff sometimes. Like invite the queen over there, do other things. But sometimes I castle into it, and or like I'm already castled. You know what I mean? But so black makes the choice to castle.
Yeah.
And then
I would
is
say
that a good choice?
I can tell you one thing about the trading on h6. Trading on h6 is a little bit better with the e5 pawn still on e7 if you're playing like something like a King's Indian or certain Sicilians, right? Like Dragon Sicilians and stuff. If the knight is still anchored by the pawn, or another opening where it comes up would be like a Pirc or a Modern.
Oh, sure.
Right? But here, the fact that you've played e5 means not only do you have to worry about queen g7 and whether or not your knight on f6 is defended, you have to keep the knight defended to have queen g7, rook g8, and you have to watch out for queen g5 going after your knight and your e-pawn. So it feels...
You have to play queen g7 or something also.
Yeah, it feels a little bad to me to trade on h6 here.
But then, like, allowing castles, what about just kind of the standard h4, h5?
What if white, instead of playing g4, had played h4, h5?
Yeah, just kind of standard fare.
Maybe black would have played bishop g4 and argued that without the pawn on f3, you're not getting the h5 attack through properly.
Okay.
Although, I mean, you know, maybe white plays knight h2. It looks stupid, but, you know, black's spending time on the bishop. Knight h2, bishop e6, and then maybe knight f1. And maybe white can still do basically the attack you're talking about. The, what's it called? Like a Yugoslav attack or a...
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they'll be fine, though.
Yeah.
Black has nothing, like, really wrong going on.
Yeah. So, I mean, h4 looks... Yeah, it was probably Looks like a possible move.
Okay. Because the g4 was surprising to me.
Mm-hmm. Queen g5, knight h4.
Because g5 is always met by knight h5 and
I really feel like knight d7 was wrong. Like, it was probably
yeah,
your
yeah,
knight
yeah.
g8 move that was right, you know? And this is how black gets in trouble. Now, queen d8, knight d6 played,
Okay, let's go back. Yeah, knight d6, nice move.
queen e7. Oh, yeah, queen e7, and white can't take anything, huh? I got maybe too excited. Yeah, if we take the rook, we hang our queen. If we take the queen, we defend f7. Huh.
Take the
Okay,
queen,
so,
our knight doesn't really have anywhere to go.
so there's no
You
knockout.
can trade the bishop, but
And then white sacks the f-pawn.
are we at the live position? Okay, I'm not at the live.
Yeah, Lasse Sonne Skak. Every time control has a different skill set than every other time
Wait,
control. So you
what is
have to
this?
calibrate to everything. You know?
I don't understand this last move.
The pawn sack.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
put the knight on e5 and
Well, I think the huge question is what if black defends the pawn with g5 and keeps white's rook at bay?
sure.
If white gets back the pawn, then I'm totally on board with the idea of trading the f2 pawn because it activates the rook nicely.
I guess what he wants to do is go back into the f5 square, I guess, is what he wants.
Mm-hmm. Right. So anyway, yeah, so I say that Lasse Sonne Skak, partly to say, there's no reason to feel bad if you play a new time control and don't perform well the first time around, right? Like, it's totally normal, and to some extent it's a different, each time control is its own game in a way. Like, you have to calibrate, like, how much time for a deep think, how much time for a critical move, when do you just have to play some quick moves, and all of that stuff has a huge impact on how you do. A lot of it happens at a subconscious level, the decisions we make about how to use our time. So you just get it by playing a certain time control a lot, and it's hard to be good at many different time controls at once. So to some extent, people have to pick, what time control do they really want to be practicing. Most people have like 2 or maybe 3 time controls they like versus they just play anything. So have I played 15 plus 5 a lot? No. I have like no experience with this. I'm always commentating.
I've played it like 10 times, 15 times.
Yeah, Rangod's done it.
Like, that's not a lot.
No, it's not a ton.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, they're going to be taking here, no?
Yeah. So Icy didn't go for g5, so we keep equal material. So actually, we have a pretty balanced endgame in front of us.
Yeah, king d2, I like this. Something.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know. You could have just castled long too, though.
I think one really big question here still is whether or not black's going to be able to play c4 and find some kind of counterplay in the center or no. So for me, as white, I would be thinking partly prophylactically about this idea of c4 for black, right? So I'd be thinking like, do I want to play b3 or do I want to answer c4 with d4? Stuff like that.
This move's surprising, rook h8. He wants to play h5, obviously, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dreaming of activating that rook. You'd imagine the simple move for white, or the basic move, would be g5, not letting that rook out.
Mm-hmm.
White puts the rooks on the f file, but if the knight on e5 can't be touched, it's not clear how we're going to make use of it.
I mean, you can always do knight e2, c3, d4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here's the plan, folks. Rangel, you can eventually disrupt that knight with d4, but it's kind of anti-positional. It's the opposite of what we want to do in the center. So it has to really win on the f-file to go for it. G5, and so now black's going to isolate the g5 pawn with h4. Idea rook h5. Black's looking pretty comfortable here.
The king is also like, on a forkable square. It has been for a long time. So to be aware of possible tic-tacs.
Yeah. I like this idea to move the knight off of c3 in view of the pawn on c6 that was limiting it. So we'll see if white can find some better work for this knight. Maybe knight e3, knight g4, or something where you just like aim to trade black's knight, since black's knight is so good.
Yep.
And structure seems decent for white. For pure rook endgame for now would seem fine. So rook d7, Icy's looking at c4 now.
Played. Okay. It's a good fight.
Yeah. I think white has to play knight g4 here. Or I don't see any move yet other than knight g4 that looks okay to me.
Does it hang?
It might. It's a very complicated move, right? Knight g4 leaves d3 hanging, leaves g5 hanging, and relies on tactics. It's attacking the knight on e5, so my idea is, if rook g5, to play knight e5, rook g1, knight d7.
Yep.
Or knight g4, pawn takes d3, knight e5. Or knight takes g4, rook takes g4, and now d3 is no longer hanging because there's no knight on e5.
I missed what you said after rook take knight takes e5, rook takes e5.
Oh, I didn't get that. Okay, rook g5, knight e5, rook e5. Very good. Then we go rook h4. And keep playing this endgame here. Which is perfectly pleasant for black, but I don't see any better move for white than knight g4, which just got played.
Okay.
So maybe that's what we're heading towards, is that rook endgame.
Very possible.
Hey, Luke, I'd gladly look at one of your games today, but I would have to know that you won't be listening while we look at your game.
This got played.
You have to close your stream while you're playing, and then you can watch the recording later.
Okay.
Cool.
Is it live? We are live. David, you haven't made any rap references today. You feeling okay?
Yeah, feeling good.
Good.
Sometimes I just thinking about chess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, crazy thing, but
this is good. I like this. This is like rook endgame. Certainly not my strength. Like it's just Landon. Welcome in. I don't have a ton of experience.
Yeah. Do you have a sense of which side you'd rather play? Sorry. I lost the internet again.
Okay.
Sorry. I lost the internet again.
Okay. I was about to spill the juice.
Yeah.
I I was saying that honestly, no, I don't know which side I would prefer. This is back like
Hmm.
when before Black played Rook A4,
Yeah.
sorry, Rook A5. I would say like maybe Black,
Hmm.
but I don't have like nothing is screaming to me saying that one player is like significantly better.
Okay.
I don't really know how to do this. And I said I might have played C5, trying to restrict the pawn in the center.
Hmm.
Um but I don't have a good instinct for it, and I don't play a ton of rook end games because honestly, like I checkmate people in the mid game.
Yeah. Don't need to. Just
Yeah.
don't need to play the end game. So the basic answer, which I think more or less holds here, is that because white has more split pawns or more different pawn islands, as people sometimes call them, black would be a little bit easier to play.
That was on H4. Low mobility. I do like the white king in the center, but the black king's doing a good job. Nothing was like really screaming to me that.
Yeah, you're right. The white king is a little bit nice. That's a
Yeah,
small
but
small advantage for white. But these rook pawns are a little bit weak. So
mhm.
as black goes back and forth attacking them, but white's able to keep them defended. Um,
Yeah, I mean white's got the pass pawn here.
oh yeah, they do have a pass pawn now. That's interesting. Interesting factor.
Can't move, but
Yeah. Hard to get through d4 at the moment, but it's there. Black's maybe looking at like an f5 idea somewhere here. White plays h5, preventing it. Wow, fancy. Travkuskin.
ooh,
Making things hard for Icy right
ooh.
there with h5. That was a great move. That was a great move, folks. I was thinking about a super basic move like king e3, just, getting my king a little bit better, but then f5 would have come and the rook on g4, right? So he actually found a move that prevents it. Now his two pawns are both pass pawns, and now white is slightly better. So it's totally switched around, I think, what's
Trade
going on here.
prisoners. Hmm.
E5 winning a rook! Oh my god, a time scramble blunder from black.
Oh wow, I totally missed that too.
And Travkuskin takes the
Wow.
huge
Wow.
upset.
Icy and Aaron. Wow.
Wow. Another huge win for Travkuskin.
I totally missed that. Let me go back.
Holy moly.
Wow. Wow.
That one was partly earned by this h5. I mean, a lot goes into winning a game at this level. You have to pose your opponent all kinds of problems. Like, part of it was that he played an unusual plan in the opening with g4 that forced Icy to think a lot and react to it, right? Like, at many, many steps. But I want to highlight one really fine move here, h5. Preventing Icy's plan of f5 because of rook takes g6. And then also, it makes these two pawns pass pawns. Oh, look, they
Why
had
did
the e5 move available for one move. They were going
why
so
did he
fast
play
they
King
didn't see it.
F6? Why
e5
did
was
he
on the
play
board.
why did he play King F6? Because I didn't understand that when it landed on the board.
Well, I think because, white's pressuring g6 and the rook's opposite your king. When you're low on time, the instinct is like unpin, right? Just, centralize your king,
Sure.
like release that tension. But it's risky and you don't know what to do in these positions. King f6, you also have to think about h6 if there weren't the tactic.
Yeah, yeah.